So, hi guys. Today we're going to go over how you're going to export your motion videos into Premiere and add sound effects. I'm going to show you what I've got here. I've got a motion project with multiple cameras active. I've got the Zella camera here. I've got the Bow camera, which is focused on Bow, and I have a Both camera, which is kind of showing both at the same time. If you look at the perspective view here, you can kind of see how everything is laid out with the different cameras on the different people. And you can also see how the scene is set up here. Okay, so the way you're going to do this, make sure you've got everything deselected. You don't have anything selected in the timeline here. Just click the gray. And you're going to go to export or share. And you're going to export a movie as default. And these are the settings you're going to use. You're going to go to settings. You're going to make sure that you have the play range. I'm going to use the play range today, so it's faster, but you would do the entire project, assuming that your entire project is going to be exported. The color space is the same. Video codec is the same. Video and audio, you're going to render both of those. On the render field, this is important. We're just going to select highest quality first, and then we're going to turn off motion blur. And we're going to select a camera that we want to export. We're going to do this 3 times, so I'm going to start with the Zella camera, and I'm just going to hit next, and I'm just going to call it Zella Cam, and I'm going to hit save. And then right here shows you the progress. The reason that it's going so quickly is because I've got just this part actually exporting. While that's exporting, I'm going to show you some of the stuff I've captured. I've captured some rain sound using the Chrome audio capture. I've captured some music by Bach, again using the Chrome audio capture. And then I went to freesounds.org and I captured one thunderbolt sound. So that's already downloaded to my desktop. So this is almost done. So what we're going to do next, and you can kind of see it right here. And we do have a focus issue, so let's go ahead and re-export this. And under render settings, we're going to make sure we do not have depth of field turned on. So that was something that we want to turn off. Otherwise, we're going to see that. I'm going to go to next, and I'm going to replace that video file with the new one, which is going much faster. We're going to export this first camera. Much better. We're going to do this one more time. Export movie. This time we're going to select the Bow camera, and these are our settings. Bow camera. And then finally we're going to export the Both camera. And we're going to save that to our desktop. And so you'll see these two things exporting. And now what we're going to do, I've already went into Photoshop, by the way. So here's my Photoshop file. And I made a new black like title for the piece. And I saved this as a JPEG already to the desktop. So it's just a title that's sitting on top of a black background, and the size when I made a new file size was the size of the video. So now we're going to go to Premiere, and you see I've already imported my sounds. I'm going to double click here to import the 3 videos that I just made, and I'm also going to import the title JPEG, which is right here. Okay, at this point we can get started using Premiere to put all our things together and start adjusting the sounds and videos and such. Okay, so we're going to start by making sure our Windows workspace is in editing if we've been in a different one before. This way you'll have the workspace that you're seeing here. And I'm going to start by double clicking the long shot with Zella and Bow in it, and I'm going to just grab in the middle and drag down to create a sequence. And you can see my sequence here has both the audio and the video. I'm going to put my mouse in between this line here to make the audio waveform a little bit more visible, and you'll notice this white line that appears when I do that. So you can make this smaller or bigger. and I'll hit the plus key one time to make this a little bit longer. And the idea is that we want the audio for the talking to be at around -12. So I'm going to hit the spacebar and see where it falls. So you see it's hitting about -9. So we want to make the audio come down a little bit. So I'm going to drag this line down to about -4 dB. And maybe a little higher so that it's not so low. And it looks like it's hitting about around 12, which is what we want. So you start with the audio track to get that to be the right decibel level. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add another camera in. So this one's the Bow camera. And I only need the video, so I'm going to grab the video only and drag that on top of the Zella. And at this point, they're both aligned because they both have the same timing. Now, what I'm going to do is cut little pieces every time we want to go to Bow. So say we want to go to Bow from here to here, but the rest of the time we want to see the dual camera. We're going to put our playhead where we want to cut something, and we're going to use the razor blade tool, C for cut, and click here, and then we're going to move the playhead and then cut here. And this is what I want, and the rest is what I don't want. Now, if you think you're going to want more later on, do that now. Like say you want this piece to this piece, and maybe you want Bow during this silence so that we can see him doing nothing. Okay, now I want to keep that, and that. So I'm going to go back to my selection tool and select the things I don't want and just hit the delete key. So you'll see it looks like this. And that's how you're going to be using different cameras in your piece. So we have one more camera that we could be using, which is just the close-up of Zella. So we'll put it on top. Everything's lined up. And again, we're going to use the C for cut, and we're going to keep that. We're going to keep that. We're going to keep that. And then we're going to keep that. And then I'm going to use the V tool to select the things I do not want. And now we have the following. And you'll notice when I drag that in, I also drag the audio in, and that's why it gets louder. So I'm going to select just the audio by holding the Option key, and that allows me to just select the audio that I don't want and hit delete. It won't select, if you didn't hold the Option key, you would select both audio and video. So I'm holding the Option key down, selecting the audio I don't want, and hitting delete. At this point, my video is the way I want it. So the next thing I'm going to add in is the music, or the ambient sound. So I'm going to put that below right here. And I don't need anything after this, so I'm going to select it and hit the delete key to cut that, and then delete everything afterwards. We're going to listen to it with the ambient. So clearly that's too loud. We do not want it to go above 6. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to bring the ambient sound down. It's still a little too loud. Okay, so it's going to about -9, which is good. I might bring the audio for the voice up a little bit, because in the end we want everything to be at -6. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is add the music. So I'm going to drag that in underneath, and I'm going to again expand that waveform so I can see it. A little loud, so we're going to bring that down. We want to just barely be able to hear it. Something like that. So that sounds pretty good. Again, we're going to cut off the end here by selecting cut C and then hitting delete after we select it. And then finally we want some thunder. Maybe we want some thunder when we zoom in on Bow right here. And so we're going to add one more track. Now you notice there's only 3 audio tracks. So you have to click the right click here in the track area, and we're going to add a track. And that will add a track below, or sometimes it adds a track above, but it added it below. And we're going to put our thunder right here, and we're going to expand this. Now if I hit the tilde key, I can see everything that I'm doing, and you can kind of see the wave. The thunder starts right around here, and it goes all the way over here. So I'm just going to drag this in so that we only have it when Bow is speaking. And I'm going to zoom in, plus, and I'm going to expand the track a little bit more, because now we're going to actually key in some things. So as soon as Bow's on screen, we want the thunder to be the loudest. So I'm going to hold the command key down, and I'm going to create some
keyframes for the audio. So the audio will start quiet here before we get to Bo, and by the time we cut to him, it'll be louder, and then we're going to fade out. So let's see how that sounds. Okay, so the thunder actually started here, so that's my fault. I'm going to move these guys to where the thunder is the loudest. And now I'm going to scooch this whole thing under Bo, so let's see how that sounds now. And it fades out too quickly, so I'm going to fade it out a little bit slower. Let's find out. So, and that's what it's going to look like. I'm held the tilde key again so we can see what that looks like visually. And we're going to play that back. And so that's how you actually do an automated amplitude adjustment. So you can kind of see how these keyframes allow you to change the audio volumes level. And you can do that on any part of any of the waveforms that you have. Just holding the command key down will allow you to create these little keyframes. Okay, finally we need to add a title. So I'm going to select everything and scooch it over a little bit so that I've got some room for my title. And my title is right here. I'm just going to grab that and put it in front. So here's what it looks like so far. And I'm just going to make it a little shorter and then select the space in between, and then it'll all snap back as long as you've selected everything. Now I want to extend the sound effects to be under the title, right? So I'm going to actually, in this case, move it this way and open it up a little bit more. Now we have sound effects, musical sound effects, and then for the audio sound effects, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to move it this way and open it up. And if we want to transition into the Zello, right-clicking on any area allows you to apply a default transition. You can kind of see, right? And then we would do the same at the end with the credits at the end. We would put them here. We would extend our audio and extend our music so that the credits would show at the end. And we could even do a cross dissolve right here. A lot of times people will they will do the following. They will have the credits happen like here, but they go to a black scene first, and that's called dip to black. So you get a crossfade here, and then this comes in with a crossfade like that. And you would have the credits here, you can have the audio here, and then you can end everything with a crossfade just by right-clicking and applying the default transition, which is a crossfade. Okay, you get the idea. So we start with, and you can even start with a crossfade, so it starts black, like that. And you can add that to the sound effects as well. And now this is officially ready to export. And I have no extra stuff anywhere here, so be careful. Otherwise, it'll export everything, including that. You go to File, or in this case, we select the timeline here. We go to Export, the Export tab, and you're going to name it something like Final Animation, and then your last name. You're going to use high quality, high definition, because that's what we have, and H.264 right here. Make sure video and audio are selected. You can preview your thing by scrubbing through here. Currently it's the entire source because I didn't put it in an out point. And now we can hit export. It will export the video. And then one last very important thing before uploading it to Canvas is to check it to make sure that it actually is acoustically correct and everything is the way you want it. So here it is on my desktop. Double click it. You got to double click it, check it. Make sure you play it all the way through just to make sure that this is exactly what you want. And if you're happy with that, then go ahead and turn it in. What I'm not happy about in this one, if it were me, I would increase the sound of the voice because it seems like it's a little lost with the background. So that's what I will do right now, is just bring it up because I think it needs it a little bit louder. and bring down the sound effects a little bit as well. So and again, we're going for a -6 here, but you want to massage these things. That sounds a little bit better. Okay, hope this helps, and good luck with your project.